It's BMG Radio, the It Could Happen edition. You never know. Any second, my computer could shut down. But that's how it works. Yeah. I don't know. Let's get into it. Because, yeah, I don't know. It could be good. Could be bad. Could be better than more guy. You're looking at me right now. I don't want my ugly mug on my face anymore. Watch this. There we go. Brings that to everything. Boom. Okay. So, yeah. You saw my beautiful face right now. Hey, everybody out there in Radioland. I'm back, and hopefully this time it's going to work. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I don't know. So, if you tuned in last night, God bless you, because it didn't work. And, yeah. So I thought, you know what? I'm not doing anything right now. I thought I'd give it another shot. So, I still have yet to see Rogue One. I was supposed to see it tonight, and my daughter wasn't feeling well, so we didn't do it. So, yeah. I'll take questions about anything. I didn't get any, and that's fine. But I'm just going to get into what I want to talk about. So, saying that, how's everyone doing out there in BMG Radio Land? Let's get to some news. How about that? We'll start with some news, and we'll work our way there. I don't know. All right. So, first up on the news. Oh, yeah. First up, I haven't seen Rogue One yet. Yeah. Second up, it was apparently a big bomb at the box office. If you consider making just under $300 million a big bomb at the box office. Yeah, it made a fair bit of money. Didn't make as much as Force Awakens, which no one expected it to, really. If you have like really unrealistic expectations, then maybe you thought it was going to make that much. But, you know, it's okay. But yeah, just under 300 million. It was like 280 something. I don't know. I'm too lazy to go look it up right now. I just know it was a fair bit of cash that it brought in. I've heard very different mixed reviews about it. Some people tell me it's great. Like my friend Lee from Drum Dums thinks it's the best movie of the year. I have a couple of friends that think it's mediocre, and a couple that think it was pretty darn good. So, and like just everything kind of in between. So I don't know. It could be something awesome, and I hope it is. And I was going to say tonight, but I didn't get to. But whatever. So yeah, that's in the news. It made just under 300 million, and that's domestically, I think. Yeah. Next, Taken 4. Are you ready for Taken 4? I'm not ready for Taken 4. And you know who else is not ready for Taken 4? Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson said no to Taken 4. God bless the man. He should have said no to Taken 2 and 3. But I understand everyone needs to get paid now again. But yeah, he said no. And this should be the end of this franchise. And, Taken 1 was great. It was fresh. It was cool. Liam Neeson was a badass. And then they did 2, and then, which was, it had a full, can't speak tonight. It had a few cool moments. It had a few cool moments in it. And overall, it was not that great, but it had some points that were cool. And then 3 was just really not anything to talk about. And so, but people make money off it, so they're like, hey, let's do 4. And he went, it's not. And, good for him. Good for him. Like, I guess he's made enough money now. He could just be like, you know what? No, I don't think I'll do that. So, that's good. Apparently I have someone else watching. I wonder who it is. Nothing in the chat, though. All right, so. What else? Sorry, Zsa Zsa Gabor died. If you don't know who that is, don't worry about it. She was 99, so she had a long life. I remember her watching her when I was younger. I believe in Green Acres. Don't really know much more about her than that, I'll be honest. But, it's in the news. Um, yeah, it was quick news. That's all I got for the news. I got much more to talk about in trailers, though. So let's get to the trailers. Oh, it's my daughter. It's Zion listening. Oh, hi, Zion. I don't even know how you knew I was doing this. All right, so trailers. Let's get to that. Okay, first off, I saw a trailer, and I showed my daughters a trailer for this movie called Hidden Figures. Now, you may not have heard of this yet, um, but it looks like a fun family film. It's say that 5 times fast. Fun family film. Fun family film. Fun family film. Okay. Um, yeah, it looks like a film that's going to be good for the family. It's about three women in particular who are working for NASA in the '60s, and they help do the math and figure out how to get John Glenn into space and then back. And it's kind of paying tribute to some people who probably should have gotten some notice but didn't. So check Hidden Figures trailer out. It looks interesting. Both my daughters really wanted to see it. The next trailer about is Blade Runner 2049. Yes, Blade Runner 2049. I didn't think, I'll be honest, 100% honest, I didn't think this was necessary. I didn't I didn't think it had any point. It's Blade Runner. Blade Runner is great, but it didn't need a sequel. And you know, it's one of those things. Okay, stop it in the chat. All right. Anyway, so yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted. I'm turning off the chat from myself because apparently some people are chatting in there that are distracting me. All right, let's just get to the show. Sorry about that. So, Blade Runner. Yeah, I never thought it needed a sequel, but they're doing a sequel. So, regardless of what I think, it's happening. And the first kind of teaser trailer happened. Nothing really happens in this teaser trailer except you see a few key people, one of which is Harrison Ford, which is back, which is cool. He's awesome. He's Harrison Ford. The other person is in it, and I didn't even know he was in the movie, is oh, I can never remember his name. Every time I go to think of this guy's name, I think it's just he's too good looking for me to remember his name. No, Ryan. No, is it Ryan or Josh? Which way could it be? Um, the guy from The Notebook. Ryan Gosling. There you go. Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling, the two good-looking Canadian guys. Um, yeah, Ryan Gosling is in this. Ryan Gosling is one of my favorite actors working right now. Like he's just awesome. And like if you've ever seen Drive, he's so freaking cool in that movie. It's scary. Um, so he's in it, and I guess he's a Blade Runner. If you haven't seen Blade Runner, what are you doing with your life? Go watch Blade Runner. It's one of the most important science fiction films you're ever going to watch. But yeah, they're doing a trailer. Excuse me. They're doing a sequel, and yeah, it the teaser. I'm not gonna lie, kind of got me tingly. Kind of got me all like, oh yeah, that looks good. I could go for some of that. That's what it looked like. So, yeah. Okay, next trailer. I got two more trailers to talk about, and then we're gonna move on. This is gonna be a short night. This is gonna be a short BMG radio because I don't have any questions in the chat, and at least not yet. I don't have any questions that anyone gave me, and but that's okay. Okay, I just watched this trailer again, and I have to say it's super exciting. I'm really pumped for it. John Wick 2. Have you seen John Wick 2 trailer? Have you seen John Wick? Let's just start off the bat. If you haven't seen John Wick, you need to watch John Wick. John Wick is one of the best action films of the last 5 years, easily. Yeah, it's super freaking awesome, cool. And yeah, it's Keanu, and Keanu is I've always loved him. Like I always have, and maybe it's just because like people make fun of him and people like talk about him like he's not cool, but he's one of the like coolest human beings on the planet. If you like know anything about the man, like personally, he's a pretty awesome guy. And yes, he is not the best actor in the world. I'm not gonna say he is, but he is freaking awesome. as a person. And in action movies, he's a pretty great action star. And John Wick was a movie that came out last year or 2 years ago, and it's just blew me away. I loved it. And it's just, I'm not going to tell you anything about it if you don't know. Watch it. Just go watch it. Do yourself a favor. Watch John Wick. And the sequel just looks so good. John Wick is all about headshots and headshots and headshots, and it's just I love the way that it shows him using a gun, and just it looks so cool. So I'm very excited for that. That looks possibly like the best action film to come out next year that I've seen trailers for. But there's one trailer that came out, and if you know me well, you know where I'm going. If you don't, that's okay. I'm about to tell you where I'm going. One trailer came out in the last week, and that trailer is Dunkirk. Now, Dunkirk, this film, it's funny because I have a friend named Elias Guerra who just started Guerra Head clothing company. I'll give him a shout out. Check him out, Guerra Head. Incredibly talented artist guy. But he kind of said that he's mainly only excited because it's a Nolan film, and the trailer didn't blow him away. And I can understand where he's talking about, but the trailer just made me super excited for this. Okay, I love Nolan. He's my favorite director. Like, unabashedly, he's my favorite director. And he hasn't made a bad movie yet, and it's just what I saw of this. He's making a World War II film. From the look of it, it's about the British Army that are stuck on Dunkirk beach and are surrounded by Germans. And I guess the Americans haven't got there at this point. And basically, they're just stuck. They got nowhere to go. They got no way back home right then and there. And they're stuck on that beach, and Germany's coming for them. And like, apparently this all happened like, I'm sure it's dramatized. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be like, exactly. It's a historical drama that's exactly accurate. I'm sure some of it's dramatized. I'm sure some of it's accurate. But it was written by Nolan and directed by Nolan, and that's enough. Like, just not even seeing anything, I'd be super stoked for this. It's shot in IMAX and 70 millimeter. Oh, I'm super just. It's my number one movie I want to see next year. And the trailer just reassured me that, like, yes, it's what would a Nolan war film look like? It looks like a pretty awesome film. Now, could it be bad still? Sure, it could. Could Nolan screw the pooch on this one? Possibly. He's got a great cast. He's got Cillian Murphy. He's got Tom Hardy. He's got Kenneth Branagh and a bunch of other actors. And I'm not but he's got all these guys, and it just looks exciting to me. It looks like a film that's going to be. It's a bit different than other war films, and it's telling a story that, like, most people probably wouldn't know, which is always cool. And and just I'm excited to see what that man can do. So yeah, that's my trailer of the week. If you haven't seen it, Dunkirk, check it out. But if you want action, check out John Wick 2. If you want little sci-fi mysterioso, check out Blade Runner 2049. And if you want to show something to your family that something could be coming up, check out Hidden Figures. Also, Hidden Figures has Kevin Costner in it as, like, kind of the head of NASA, or like the flight control guy. I don't know, but I'm a big Kevin Costner fan, and he's had a bit of a resurgence in the last couple of years, which I'm really happy about. So he's in that too. So yeah, those are the trailers for this week. Trailer talk. Next, I'm going to talk about my YouTuber of the week, YouTuber of the day, YouTuber of the video. I don't know what I call it. YouTuber of the week, I guess we'll call it, because I only do this weekly. And I'm kind of cheating because I've done, I think, both these guys before, but I'm also, this isn't on YouTube even, so I'm kind of cheating completely, but it's my radio show, so I'll do whatever I want. I have started listening to a thing on iTunes. Now, I just recently, I'll preface this, I just got an iPhone a couple weeks back. I've never had an iPhone. I had an iPad, what the heck was that? An iPad. I had an iPad, I still have an iPad. But I got an iPhone, and I've been playing around with it, and some people I know, two guys, British guys, one named Brian Lomax, one named Graham, and I can't remember Graham's last name. Sorry, Graham. Um, but Graham does Man versus Film, and Brian Lomax does Brian Lomax Movie Talk, and they've been doing this podcast together called Brits on Flicks. They're both from the British Isles. Graham's Scottish, Brian's English, and it's roughly an hour and a half, I guess. And I don't know, I don't think it's weekly, maybe weekly, but they do it every couple weeks at least, and they talk about film for about an hour and a half. Now they kind of talk about one film to start for about maybe 45 minutes to 50 minutes, and then they talk about like a top 5 list of things, and then just what they've been watching lately. And the two of them are both film fanatics. They're both guys I respect and really enjoy listening to. Graham, I love him, has a very thick Scottish accent. I have my granddad was Scottish, although I didn't really know him, but I've never had a problem understanding Scottish people. I know a few people that do, so I understand if some people would be like, I can't understand him, but I understand Graham perfectly. And Brian, he's English, so other than he says Kraken a lot, what are you gonna do? He's British. He's gonna say Kraken. This is not like the Kraken, but he goes, oh, it's a cracking good film. So they do this podcast called Brits on Flicks. I have listened to 2.5 episodes. The most recent one, they're talking about Christmas stuff and Scrooged, which is one of my favorite movies for Christmas. Bill Murray, he's my favorite actor, and they talk about the film pretty in depth, and do a good job talking about it. And then they talk about their favorite 5 Christmas films. So yeah, I cannot highly recommend enough if you like podcasts. Now, again, podcasts, like I just got the iPhone recently, so what I've been doing is I've been downloading them to the iPhone, and then just putting them on when I'm driving my car to go to work in the morning, or when I'm waiting for my wife at the train, or any of that kind of stuff. I've been just listening to the podcasts, and I can't highly enough recommend them. If you're into two guys talking about film, and they're smart, they're funny, they're British, it's definitely worth checking out. So they're my YouTuber of the week, even though they're YouTubers and they're not actually on YouTube. This is on iTunes. You can it's Brits, so Brits on Flicks, and I'm not going to spell that. I don't know why I spelled the first one, but check them out. I highly recommend them. I think they're both really good guys. They both love film a lot, and yeah. All right, 60 seconds of awesome. This is the part where I talk about someone for 60 seconds. I'm going to time myself. Watch this. Hold on. I'm getting my phone up. I'm getting the timer up, and I would give myself 60 seconds to talk about someone. I'll even put in a timer. All right, so today I'm talking about Keanu Reeves. All right, so Keanu Reeves, again, if you don't know, I'm going to just say, the man is awesome. Okay, what you may not know about Keanu Reeves, other than his fine acting ability, which is fine. Again, he's not Michael Fassbender, but he's freaking awesome. The man he lost a child, lost his wife to cancer, and then it's kind of like John Wick. Anyways, but he can go kill people. But his sister almost died to cancer, and he donated like a ton of his money from the Matrix to the hospital that saved her. He's worth like $100 million, and he takes the subway places all the time. He's one of the richest guys you'll ever meet. That's super nice and cool. And he's from what I understand, always had time for his fans. Plus, he's been in the movies like The Matrix, Bill and Ted, John Wick, and some really cool chick flicks too. Lake House wasn't a bad movie. I like him. So that's 60 seconds of awesome. There you go. There's the alarm going off. I'm not going to talk about him anymore. All right, I can stop that. All right. Cancel that. Oh, I can't turn it off. Oh, there we go. All right. So, he's my 6 seconds awesome this week. I'm going to move on to Letterboxd. Letterboxd, if you don't know, is a cool site. You can get an app for it on your iPhone, which I did. You probably get an app for it on your Samsung too, or whatever device you're cool enough to own. Feel free to tell me in the comments which phone you own. I have a iPhone iPhone 6S, not the super large version. because that's ridiculous. But that's the one I own. This is the first one I can actually tell you what I've owned for like the longest time. People have been like, "What phone do you have?" And I'm like, "It's a Samsung something or other. I don't know." But I have a 6S iPhone. Um, don't be impressed. I'm just, you know, I'm impressed with myself that I know what I have. I have been watching. Now, Letterboxd is a site, if you don't know, um, that you basically talk about movies. You get to rank movies. It's a lot like Flickster, but cooler. And you can follow people and follow your friends and see. You can follow famous people if you like. There's like Jeremy Johns, I think might be on there. I know Chris Stuckman is, and many of the YouTube communities on there. And so I follow a lot of my friends like Brian Lomax and stuff, and he does his own show about this, but we're not going to talk about that now because I've already given him enough love today. But yeah, so and you can keep a diary is the other thing. So what have I been watching lately? I'm going to tell you what I've watched. On the 12th, I watched For the Love of Spock. Yeah, I was homesick and I decided to watch a documentary. I like watching documentaries. Do you like watching documentaries? Like if I just got a couple hours to kill and I don't want to get invested in a movie, like documentaries are great, and I've watched a ton this year. I got to do a top 7 of the documentaries I watched this year from this year. But The Love of Spock is a documentary directed by Leonard Nimoy's son, and it started when Leonard Nimoy was still alive, and then when he passed away, it kind of went into full force of being about not just about Spock, but being about Leonard Nimoy. It's very interesting. Tons of back stuff and like interviews and photos and poetry readings. Leonard Nimoy was an interesting guy, and it's a really good documentary. Very interested. If you like Star Trek and and that kind of stuff, it's interesting. If you don't love Star Trek, no point watching it at all. So what else did I watch? As a family, we watched Gremlins. I showed my daughters Gremlins for the first time. It was quite an experience. It was funny because they loved Gizmo. They thought he was very funny. Oh yeah, by the way, Spock, I give 4 beards out of 5 for a documentary. So Gremlins, yeah, they love Gizmo. They've never seen Gizmo before, and they just love the little mackerel. And so yeah, they knew the bad ones were coming, and they weren't thrilled about it. But they've seen enough scary stuff now that it didn't faze them too much when they finally showed up. And Gremlins it's some of the effects on the Gremlins haven't held up, but I love what they did with them anyways. If they did that movie now, they'd all be CGI. And I don't know, there's just something about the practical effects. I love CGI when it's sprinkled on top of stuff. So it's like, oh, we could make everything CGI. No, don't make everything CGI. It's like use practical effects and then put CGI over top of it or like as backgrounds. And like there's so many good things you can do with CGI, but there's so many good things you can still do with practical effects. And I'm sure they would have done more if they did Gremlins today. It would be mostly CGI. But it's a messed up little Christmas movie. I saw it when I was a kid and was instantly terrified of it, but I've watched it several times since. And yeah, I really enjoyed showing it to my daughters. Ranking it was fun because I was just like, oh, this is a classic kind of like, it's from the 80s Christmas movie. And I like what they did, and I like the puppetry and all that stuff. And so like part of me is just like wants to press that. Part of me is just like it's not really as good as I remember it. So I wanted to give it 3.5 beards, but I was like, oh, and I give it 4 beards. It's like 4 beards with like an asterisk. It's like if I could give it 3.75 beards, I would, but I don't do that. So I only work in halves or fulls. So yeah. And lastly, we watched Die Hard, which is a movie I have to watch every Christmas. And this Christmas season has been jam packed with events and other stuff, and we haven't been able to watch that many movies. And so, looking at it, I was like, I'm only going to really get to choose one that I get to choose. My family's going to get to each choose one. And so I was like, I'm watching Die Hard. That's the one movie I have to watch. Usually the other ones are Muppets, Christmas Carol, and which we've already watched, and then Scrooged, which my daughter is picking. So, I'm winning on all fronts here. It's pretty cool. But Die Hard. Die Hard. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I'm sorry if you don't think it is. It takes place on Christmas. It's all about trying to get back to your family. It has Christmas music in it. It has Christmas decorations. He uses wrapping paper and stuff to like tape, wrapping tape to tape a gun to his back in the end. Yes, he's killing terrorists, and yes, but the Christmassy stuff is all throughout that film. And like they say Merry Christmas in it tons of times. I'm sorry, it's a Christmas movie, and I know a few people who don't consider it to be one, and they're wrong. That's okay. They're just wrong. It's a complete Christmas movie, and it goes without saying. I did a review for Die Hard already, but it gets 5 yards out of 5. It's completely badass, awesome. One of the best action movies of all time, and it's a great Christmas movie to boot. So that's my letterboxd. I told you I haven't been watching that many films. So I'm gonna just check the chat, which last time I checked the chat and distracted me, and I apologize for that. So, yeah, nobody except my family is in the chat, which is sad, but it's totally fine. So, let me just see if any questions were asked by anybody else. No. Nope. Nope. Christopher Wells is watching, apparently. Hey, Christopher. Nothing. How was your school? Nope. Bill Nye the Science Guy is the best, if you say so. Gizmo is Bay. Okay, whatever. And yeah, that's it. So I got no questions, and I'm completely fine with that. This is gonna be a nice short BMG radio, and you know what? That's cool. If you do get to listen to this and you're still with me, thank you. I'm sorry this week. Literally, let me explain what happened last night. It went like this. I had everything ready for BMG Radio. I just posted that it was going to be up, and I gave everyone like half an hour notice, and I prepped everything, and I had every picture I wanted for it, and I hit start record live, and my computer went and turned off. And once it does that, it's not coming back on anytime soon. So it was just a thing where I was like, "Yep, I'm screwed," and I felt very bad. So I felt annoyed and felt hurt. And for anyone who was in the chat or watching, I apologize. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen again. I'm going to do my best to make sure that doesn't happen again. The computer I have is very touchy, and like right now it's telling me I'm at 99%, which is fine. But if I'm at anything less than like 99, 100 and stuff, it seems to drain super fast. And even though it's plugged in, it will still sometimes crash on me. So, yeah. That's all I got. So, if you're still around, other than my daughters who keep on chatting, I just want to say thank you. I want to say Merry Christmas. This is the last BMG Radio before Christmas. Let me know what Christmas movies you've been watching. Like I said, I am a huge fan of Christmas. I love Christmas. And all right, let's get my outro music going here. Thank you very much. You guys have a awesome Merry Christmas. And we'll see. I may do a BMG radio next week. I may not. I don't know. Depends how much I'm really awake. Because that's a thing called boxing in Canada. We'll talk about that another time. So, thank you very much for listening. And until next time, stay bearded. And as always, YouTube Sek.